If you're wondering where else you can find the Smark Foundation podcast, you can stream our show on Pandora, Spotify, and nearly anywhere else you normally stream your podcasts from, including our home at rss.com. We're also on YouTube, featuring not only full episodes of our show, but individual segments from each episode for easier content digestion. For any of those outlets, just type Smark Foundation Podcast into the search bar to find us. If you'd like to interact with us directly, we're very active on our new social media home, Blue Sky. You can contact the show at smarkfndnpodcast.bsky.social for general pro wrestling or podcast comments. And if you want to get to know us each a little bit more on a personal level, Aaron's personal account is at aaronsmark.bsky.social, and Adam's is at adamsmarkfndnpodcast.bsky.social. If you'd like to further support our show, you can visit our shop at smarkfoundationpodcast.printful.me to purchase various merchandise with our show's logo on it. Wear your SFP t-shirt or hoodie around town and spread the word about the show that strives to bring fans together around what's great about pro wrestling today, brought to you by a couple of everyday elder millennial wrestling fan dads. Now back to the show.
All right, time for our hot tag, and that is going to be the Royal Rumble 2025. So this might be kind of short, or it might be, I'm not sure, probably going to be pretty short, just because there's only 4 matches, 2 of them are Rumbles. I don't have to explain much to anybody how much I love Rumbles and, doing that kind of stuff. So, I love the Royal Rumble. This is my favorite event of the year. I like it better than WrestleMania. AEW Blood and Guts is a very close second because that's kind of like our War Games successor. But I also really like War Games when WWE does it. They do it a lot in NXT and they do it on main roster now, and I like it there too. So, but that's kind of secondary. Royal Rumble is my first love and always will be. I love the Royal Rumble. Like when I was a kid, the coolest thing was like all these people in this match. Like, oh my God, look how many people are in the match at one time. And that feeling of how cool that was never wore off for me. I'm 41 years old and I still think that's like the coolest shit. So, yeah. So, for this one, we had, the women's Royal Rumble kicked off the show. We had, pretty much a murderer's row of all the best women between Raw and SmackDown, as well as, Roxanne Perez, Stephanie Vaquer, and Jordan Grace showed up as a WWE signee. So she's now officially with WWE, and she showed up, and that was kind of a surprise. As far as we had Julia also, and then Trish Stratus for kind of like the veteran surprise. She showed up wearing her old TNA gear for when she was Test and Albert's manager.
Huh.
So
That's a choice.
Yeah, it was a choice for sure. It wasn't very flattering. But she wrestled. She was in there for a while. Everybody kind of was. Nia Jax was number 29, which I was like, oh man, here we go. And she eliminated a lot of people. Like at one point, there was like 17 of them standing on the apron, and she just hit the apron, and everybody kind of fell off. And that included people like Bianca and like Candice LeRae and stuff like that. So it was weird. Alexa Bliss returned and got the biggest pop of the night by far. Entire show.
Really?
Entire show. Yes.
Good for her.
It was insane. Like she got a really great pop. Charlotte Flair came back at 27. And I was like, okay, she's back at 27, so who's 30? 30 ended up being Nikki Bella. Which I don't like it. I don't like that at all. Like if they're gonna give me a surprise at 30, it needs to be a surprise. Like something like AJ Lee would have been way better in this spot right here. And now I understand Nikki Bella said some stuff in recent interviews about wanting to come back to WWE, and I'm not saying don't do that. Follow your heart. Do whatever you want to do. But don't take a very important Rumble spot from like a real contender right now. And don't assume to be one just because you show back up.
My question is, like, given everything that's come out with the Grant lawsuit, why would you even want to step foot back in the place if you're Nikki Bella of all people?
No idea. No idea at all. No idea.
I don't get it. I mean, it's her life, it's her decision. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like, I couldn't imagine if I were in her place and my one-time stepfather had been revealed to have done the things that were done. I don't think that I would be able to justify stepping foot back in the place.
Yeah.
Because I know what would have been going on behind my back.
Yeah. So, but regardless of where she came in at the Rumble, it didn't end up mattering because Charlotte Flair wins.
Unsurprising.
As soon as she declared for the Rumble in the vignettes, I knew that this was happening. So this was not surprising.
It was the Batista treatment all over again.
Yeah. The match was good though. I mean, she got a good pop, but she's going to face Tiffany Stratton, who's incredibly over. So we'll see how this is going to go. The last two though were Charlotte and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez went from like number 3 all the way to the end.
Roxy, good
she was over
her.
Man, it was she really put on a performance.
Her
and Io Sky were both in over an hour, and I got to give it up for both of them. They put on real performances. They worked really well as what we call ring generals when we're putting together battle royals. You send people in at certain places to do certain things, and most of it is controlling the match. The fact that they were in there so long means that the WWE doesn't just have faith in their ability in the ring. They have faith in their ability to help everybody get where they need to be for certain things.
And it's so telling
for
an
NXT
she's
talent.
So young.
For her to be that young and be an NXT talent who is obviously going to be called up to the freaking main roster soon.
Oh yeah.
That shows incredible trust. And that's a big deal. A big deal. A lot of other people are just going to make a big deal about the time. I also have to bring in this business part. This is a big deal backstage. This is going to be a way bigger deal than just, than just her being in there for an hour. It's that they gave her that amount of trust in a match like this, because it really does matter who's in there for a length of time. It's not a contest so much as it's a chess match.
Yeah.
So, this was fantastic. It was really well done. But called the winner from a mile out. Like, no surprises.
Oh yeah.
No. This is one of many Royal Rumbles that I've watched where the surprises in it surprised me legitimately. Like Alexa Bliss showing back up after recent reports that her contract negotiations weren't going well. And then, which was probably a complete red herring.
Story.
Yeah. I'm thinking that they're. I'm thinking that WWE and maybe even AEW to an extent feeds the rag stories that they run with, so that and a lot of times they do it to set up storylines because a lot of that stuff ends up on TV. But Alexa Bliss coming back, like that was kind of, we didn't think that was going to happen. That was super surprising. Trish showing up, always a surprise, even though it's not like out of this world that it would happen. Nikki Bella was a surprise, but not a good one. It just wasn't. But yeah, called the winner from a mile away. From there,
see, like if you switch the numbers between Trish and Nikki, they probably would have worked better.
Yeah. Oh, Jordan Grace.
I saw exactly what you're trying to talk about.
She picked up Piper Niven and did like a cartwheel Death Valley driver with her. It was freaking
incredible. Awesome. I saw that clip. I'm like, dang, this girl, she's gonna be a thing.
Oh yeah, she's definitely gonna be a big thing. Let's see. Charlotte Flair had a ridiculous amount of pyro on her entrance, and even Wade Barrett on commentary was like, pyro on a Royal Rumble entrance. You must be really important. Like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
you're not wrong, bud. Okay, so next match was DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns, 2 out of 3 falls for the WWE Tag Team Championships. This was pretty much a basic 2 out of 3 falls match, except the Motor City Machine Guns won, but they will not get the titles because the last fall they won was a DQ.
Okay. Shenanigans. Okay.
The Street Profits showed up. Is that the right team? Am I saying the wrong one? No, Private Parties, AEW, Street Profits, or WWE. I always get the name. Like, I don't get the guys mixed up. I get the name of like the tag team mixed up.
Yeah.
But okay, so Street Profits showed up, and they bean DIY with like their crutches that they're walking on and stuff, and then go to beating on DIY. So MCMG wins the match by DQ from the last fall, but it's because Street Profits want to take the titles from DIY. So instead of costing DIY the titles, they're beating up DIY to have them keep the titles.
So they can be the one.
So they can take them. Yeah. Smart.
Sounds like we're in for another triple threat match.
Yeah, I think we probably are. But the match itself was very good. They went a really good time for a 2 out of 3 falls match. It wasn't too long. A little bit of shenanigans from Ciampa for that first fall, and then they kind of went into a really good match for the second fall, and then leading up to the third fall was a really good match, a really good match in itself. So, they kind of actually had 3 really good matches. And I think it's probably about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. But not bad. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it, so whatever.
I mean, you don't want a 2 out of 3 falls match to be much shorter than that either.
No.
Like if it's like 20 minutes or shorter, you're like, what was the point of having more than one fall?
Yeah. But in this one, like, I mean, each of the mid matches got about 30 minutes, and then the Royal Rumbles, they really gave them the time they want. They need like minute 15, minute 20, or hour 15, hour 20. Just enough to really get a good Rumble going. Have a lot of people like us. Like in the women's Rumble, it took like, I think number 15 or 16 in the ring before anybody got eliminated.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was like there was a gang of people in the ring before anybody got eliminated. So then after that we had Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. And basically this entire match was Cody. I could see him putting it together in my head. Cody goes, "I'm going to put you through this." And Kevin just goes, "Okay," every time Cody says that. And that was pretty much the entire match. Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes broke off the bottom rung of the ladder and was beating up Kevin Owens with it. There was a ladder that was open, but on its side. So like in like the stiffest position a ladder can be in while open because it's laid out.
Yeah.
And Cody slammed Kevin on the top part where it's closest together and just stiff as can be. Nasty. As bad as Drew taking that back bump on the stairs in the Hell in a Cell with Punk. Like, it was ugly. And then to end the match, he put him through a ladder. Like put him through a ladder, sold for like 5 minutes, got up and really like hard to get up the ladder and like got both titles down and did not look like he was satisfied with the ending. Like, because he had taken so much punishment to get there. It was just a brutal fight. It was not a typical ladder match where they were both trying to game each other to get up the ladder. No, they basically completely left that part of it alone until one of them had incapacitated the other. And then he went and like begrudgingly climbed the ladder and took the titles down.
So, do you think their goal was to be the first ladder match where the only time they climbed a ladder to reach for the prize was the one time where it was actually going to be grabbed?
You know, it's possible that they did that. Yeah.
Because that's kind of what it sounds like the goal was. Like, I could see that thought process be like, well, what hasn't been done in a ladder match before?
Yeah.
I can tell you what hasn't been done. The
Yeah.
only time somebody climbs the ladder is when they win the damn thing.
Yeah. And I knew Cody Rhodes had it in him to have like a real good street fight.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
this was a fight, man. And
Yeah.
Kevin Owens, his shirt, man. His shirt.
I feel like Kevin Owens has paid his dues in these ladder wars, man. I don't want to see him in another ladder match ever. Not because he's not good at it, but because like he's paid his dues. You shouldn't have to do this, Kevin, to yourself.
His T-shirt.
Please be kind to yourself.
His T-shirt said, "The Canadian Dream, son of a security systems engineer." Just fantastic. This man, his T-shirt game is on point. I don't care what he's doing. Also, has definitely been hitting the gym. Like he's definitely.
I noticed. Yeah, I've seen clips and stuff. It's like, you're still wearing a shirt, but there's not as much coming out from under that.
Nah, there ain't. It's definitely So yeah, it was a freaking. It was just a sicko match. It was total like Cody Rhodes was like, you know what, man? Let's do an AEW match. And they did, and it was great.
Who's gonna tell him no?
Nobody.
He's Cody Rhodes. He's a made man.
So then we get to the men's rumble. Okay. So we were talking about Lucha Underground earlier.
Yeah.
Number 1 and number 2 are Rey Mysterio and Penta.
Wow. There you go.
And it was great, man. Like they shook hands and then they went to work. And like it was some really good lucha for 4 minutes until Chad Gable showed up. And Chad Gable has kind of had a problem with both of these guys lately. Like he's having like the storyline right now is that Chad Gable is having a luchador problem. And he's getting consulted on how to deal with his luchador problem by Dom Mysterio. But he basically gets his ass kicked for like the next 3 minutes by Penta and Rey Mysterio. I mean, that's where that was going. But then Carmelo Hayes comes out. Santos Escobar, Otis, Braun Breaker, and this is where like finally we're gonna get an elimination. And Braun Breaker eliminates Carmelo Hayes. When Braun Breaker eliminates Carmelo Hayes, Akira Tozawa's coming out, and Carmelo attacks Akira Tozawa and puts him out of the Rumble. At which point we go backstage and we see Triple H, and he's like, I don't know who to put in here. Speed, get in there. And so this is where he puts I Show Speed in the Rumble. Yeah. I hate this. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. To be fair, the wrestlers didn't seem to like it either because Braun Breaker hit the ropes 2 times to make sure he was at absolute full speed when he crushed this boy with a freaking spear. And this kid barely had time to turn. Like this kid was doing a backflip and showing off for the crowd. And as soon as he did that backflip, Braun hit the ropes the first time and he came back across and he was going his full 20 miles an hour, man. And this kid turned just in time to catch it in the chest instead of the side. Oof. And he caught it he caught it all too, man. Good God. And Braun Breaker immediately gets up and looks down like, you should not be here at all. Yeah. Like, he absolutely, like, not kayfabe, you should not be here. Really get the fuck out of here, YouTube streamer, you do not belong here. Like, they did not look like none of the wrestlers looked like they appreciated him being in there. And that's fine because he was gone just as quickly as he came. Thank you, Braun Breaker. That was the most serious case of being cut in half I've ever seen in my life. Like, holy shit, dude. Wrong kid died. Holy crap. Like, it was crazy. Then we got Sheamus, Jimmy Uso, Andrade. Jacob Fatu shows up like mid-match, like 14 or 15. Wild.
Wrecks the place, probably.
Yeah. Ludwig Kaiser came in, and they had to check the time to make sure he didn't beat Santino. Because he was out and about. I think he only didn't beat him by like 0.2 of a second or something like that. But yeah. He was out. Jacob Fatu immediately killed him. Miz came in. Then we had Joe Hendry in all his glory, and the crowd popped like crazy for Joe Hendry. A big pop. They sung along with his song. They were really, I mean, he's over, man, even in there.
He is.
And
Really is.
before he got eliminated very quickly, he got to fight with Roman Reigns. So he fought with Roman Reigns for a while, because that was the next entrant, because he was kind of dilly-dallying around and Roman was not having him dilly-dally.
See, like, you want to tout your relationship with TNA. I think you can do better than having their world champion eliminated in a Royal Rumble match in less than 2 minutes. I think you can do better than that.
Yeah.
Congratulations, TNA. This is the relationship that you now have.
We stole your women's champion, and your men's champion is going to get shit canned in our Rumble. It's our top guy. So after Roman, then we had Drew, and the crowd popped big, and then we had Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura, and so for the next 6 minutes, the crowd was completely silent. I don't know what happened to poor Finn, but they don't give a shit about him, man. And they don't care about Shinsuke, poor guy, even though he's the U.S. champion. After that, Jey Uso, crowd picks right back up, but even with that, even with everybody eating all over the place, the next entrant, AJ Styles, returns. And
he's been off for a while, hasn't he?
He has been off for a while with that injury that he was very upset about. And the crowd went pretty crazy for that. Braun Strowman then comes in. Him and Jacob Fatu are going after it. Then John Cena shows up. Then CM Punk. Then Seth Rollins.
Was Braun wearing a mask or anything for his nose?
No, he looked fine actually. So I guess it was
okay.
I guess it was just really good makeup or something. But God, they did it so good. It looks so gross. Then John Cena and CM Punk and Seth Rollins all right in a row, and of course Punk and Rollins are fighting immediately. And John Cena's being John Cena. Dominic Mysterio shows up. Then Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, LA Knight, and Logan Paul. At number 30 was Logan Paul. Gross because in that whole list I just named, there's no Kofi Kingston, and also gross because Logan Paul got to do the Kofi spots. Super gross. Then on top of that, Logan Paul eliminated CM Punk. Super gross. But he did get eliminated by John Cena directly thereafter. Like, enough time, the crowd had enough time to be like, oh, that's shitty. And then, he's gone. And Cena threw him like a lawn dart, too. So it was great. See here. What else happened? We're probably going to get... we're probably getting a Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest program because Damian eliminated Drew. So that will probably be happening. Roman was trying to eliminate Seth, and Punk eliminated them both. And Seth blamed it on Roman and went sick house and like double stomped Roman on the floor and then stomped him again on the metal stairs. So we're probably balling towards Seth versus Roman. I'm okay with that because that gets him out of CM Punk's way. And I think Seth and Roman have really good ring chemistry, so this will be good. Especially since Paul Heyman's going to do most of the talking, let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, other than that, we got to our final four, which was John Cena. It was John Cena, Damian Priest, Logan Paul, and Jey Uso. I'm pretty sure was the last four. Wait, Cena. Okay, yeah. So the last three were John Cena, Jey Uso, and Logan Paul. And then Cena eliminated Logan Paul. And then it was just Cena and Uso. And they had a good 10-minute match between Jey Uso and John Cena that was really good.
They gave him that much time.
Huh? Yeah, they gave it a lot of time. It was really good. And Cena just ended up on the apron and Jay ended up inside, and Jay like kind of double kicked him, drop kicked him off the apron, and Cena like landed on his feet and was like, oh hell. But then he got back in the ring and Jey Uso was like wary, and then Cena came up and like hugged him and was like, congratulations, and held his hand up. He gave him a nice rub afterwards too. So, and the crowd was as excited in the building as I was in my home, because I came clean up out of my freaking seat and was like, Jey Uso won the Royal? What the fuck? Like, I didn't know what to think about it. I was super surprised. There are other people who will claim they were not surprised. They are liars.
They are liars. I was certainly surprised when I heard. I'm like, really? I could think of about 5 to 8 people I would have thought would have won ahead of him.
Yeah, I thought,
including people who'd never won before. I mean, like, yeah, Cena winning would have been his 4th one. They love breaking records. They could have done that. You could make a case for Rollins. You could make a case for Reigns. Reigns is always a contender.
McIntyre.
Punk. McIntyre has won before. Punk has never won, and it would guarantee him getting into that ever elusive WrestleMania main event that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I mean, that's 5 right there. Like,
yeah,
I shouldn't say that make more sense, but that immediately come to mind before Jey Uso.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that come to mind before Jey Uso, but I was smart enough. The only thing I was smart enough to know and predict was that I wouldn't be able to predict who was going to win this match.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be CM Punk, and when you're predicting the Royal Rumble, you can only really say who you want to win.
Yeah.
Because you never really know. I mean, like, women's Royal Rumble, little bit different. When somebody like Charlotte, yeah, when you're going to bring somebody like Charlotte in, and that's going to be her return, she's been gone for a year. We know she's winning the Royal Rumble. This isn't a hard one. But for the men, that Royal Rumble particularly had so many people declare for it, and it was so stacked that we knew there weren't going to be too many surprises, and there weren't. And we also knew that it could be literally anyone, and it was literally somebody I wouldn't have even thought. Like, if you put a gun to my head and said, name the winner of the 2025 Royal Rumble, I would have never in my lifetime said Jey Uso, and I would have picked
Sammy over Jay.
Yeah, for sure. I would have picked a lot of people. And that's not saying anything bad about Jey Uso. He's super over. This does make sense in that he's super over. And this thing with Gunther's been building up for a couple of weeks where it kind of, I mean, it makes sense that this happened because now we're probably going to get Jey Uso versus Gunther. It's probably going to be a good match. They had a shorter match at S02E. It cooked. Let's see what happens when they get a Mania main event and get, like 30 minutes. Let's see what happens. They'll probably cook. And they could elevate Jey Uso forever. Or they could cement Gunther as one of the baddest men on the planet and the baddest heels ever. It just really depends on how they want to play it and what they want to sacrifice to get there to the end. So we'll see how WWE plays this out, but really, start to finish, I really freaking enjoyed the show. I had a lot of fun watching it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm sad because I'm probably not going to be covering next year's Royal Rumble because of where it takes place. But if this is the one I go out on, I'm sure as fuck glad it was this one, man. It was really good, man. It was. Yeah. The good memories of this one could hold me over for a couple years if I have to, stand on business and do my thing. So, this was good. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Big thumbs up, WWE. Y'all surprised me, which we all know. Any regular listener here knows if you surprise me, I like that. I like being surprised, and then I am thoroughly. So, and then everything else of the show was good. It was good wrestling. It was really good wrestling, man. And you don't get that out of WWE.
Beats good wrestling.
But nothing beats really good wrestling. Yeah. So with that, I think it's time to do like the pros do and call it in the ring.